Recently I made a video about why you should grow out your hair, but in this video we're going to be talking about why you should not grow out your hair. Hey guys, my name is George, welcome back to my channel, and so that video I made about how I think every guy should grow out their hair once did quite well, and it seems that I've inspired quite a few of you to start your hair growth journey, and that's amazing. However, one thing I did mention is that growing out your hair is not all sunshines and rainbows, right? There's a lot of negatives that a lot of guys don't realize before jumping into it. They just think, screw it, I'll grow out my hair and it will look good and it'll be fine, and yeah, that's as simple as that. Actually, there's a hell of a lot of reasons that I'm going to share with you guys today as to why you actually shouldn't grow out your hair. And the reality is, if you're not really willing to put up with most of these things that I'm going to tell you, maybe growing out your hair isn't for you. So I put together a little list here of some things that I think might help you guys decide whether or not this is actually for you. What are the negatives of growing out your hair? And trust me, there's quite a few. There is quite a few. The first thing that I'm going to have to mention that no guys ever really think about is, you don't understand how patient you actually need to be when growing out your hair. Like, it's easy to think, oh, I'll just not cut my hair and in a year's time or 2 years time I'll have long hair. But it's the actual patience required to pull through is so, it's hard, guys. It's really hard. And that's probably the number one reason why most guys don't even do it. It's because it takes so damn long and most guys aren't patient enough to do it. Another reason why you shouldn't grow out your hair is because the long hair haters are not going to click subscribe, they're not going to click like on this video, they're not going to follow my Instagram at George F. Lato. But you guys might, right? Because you're not haters. You might do that, right? Hint, hint. And with the process of growing out your hair comes the awkward stage, which is another reason why you don't want to grow out your hair. The awkward stage is just that stage of your hair growth where it's no longer short, you can't really style it anymore the way you used to, but it's also not long, so you can't really go for that intended long looking hair. You're just somewhere in between, and it's that stage that everyone hates because no matter what you do, you can't make it look good. You can't make it look a way that you like it, and it just becomes so infuriating when you try and try to make it look good, and it just never does. It just never looks good. The awkward stage is the worst. Obviously there's ways to try and make the awkward stage slightly less bad, but I can't lie to you guys, everyone's gonna go through it at one point. I feel like there's some days where I'm still kind of going through it. I haven't cut my hair, so it's kind of all just grown out naturally. Some bits are longer than others and this and that. It's still a little bit awkward, I'm still growing it out. So the awkward stage, definitely something to keep in mind. Be prepared for some bad hair days. Another thing about long hair is just the time consumption. I miss the days where I'd come out of the shower, and even if I was using a blow dryer, 2 to 5 minutes and I was ready to go about my day. Nowadays, it takes so much longer, and it's just a process. Drying your hair is so long. I do understand that I don't dry it as often because I don't wash it as often, but when I do dry it, it takes forever. And I'm so impatient sometimes when I just want to go out and start my day and I had to wash my hair and it takes a while. To be fair, that actually is a point in itself. Your focus shifts when you have longer hair. From styling and how you can make it look cool through styling, more to a hair care routine, right? You try and take care of your hair, make it look as healthy as possible. But I don't know, this can actually be seen as a negative. Even though I did mention in my other video how it's a positive, how you can learn how to take care of your hair, in another way it can be seen as a negative because I actually enjoy the hairstyling part and I feel slightly more limited with my hair right now. That's not to say that there's not loads of hairstyles that you can have with longer hair, but you definitely don't feel like you're putting as much focus into the styling as you are into the hair care. And actually with that comes another negative. It is so hard to have a consistent hairstyle because every day when you wake up, your hair kind of decides what it wants to be doing that day. And some days you'll really love it, and other days you'll really hate it. Some days you'll feel like you're forced to put it in a bun. Other days you just have to let it free, let it loose. And I don't know, I feel like because I'm still growing it out, you go through the stages and the next thing you know, the thing you're used to doing no longer works quite as well because your hair's already changed. It's hard to have that consistent style. When you have shorter hair, every day you know what you're doing, it's exactly the same, right? Well, at least it can be, it's easy. With longer hair, maybe not so much. And yet again, that means that some hairstyles are actually a lot more flexible with what you can do with them than this one. So medium hair is probably the sweet spot if you want to try all kinds of hairstyles. Long hair, you're slightly limited. To be fair, it's still more diverse than when you have like a buzz cut, but you get what I mean. There are more diverse options out there. Another thing to keep in mind is that having long hair can kind of look disheveled if you're not taking care of it. You can end up looking a bit homeless if you don't take care of your hair. There's a difference between growing out your hair and having really good long hair versus looking like you just do not care about taking care of yourself. You can't be bothered to go to a barber and now you look homeless. There is a difference, and you have to make sure you don't cross that fine line into looking disheveled and just completely messy, unclassy, and not so good, right? You gotta come across like you're purposely trying to grow your hair and not because you're lazy or don't care about your appearance. Guys, this one annoys me a lot. Long hair can be a pain in the right? You're walking down the road and it's a windy day and the gust of wind is coming from behind. Guess what's gonna happen? All up in your face, right? And then you're just there with your hair in your face, and if you didn't bring your band, then you're just stuck with it. Or you're trying to eat some food and your hair just keeps falling into your face, so yet again you might want to put it in your band. Or you're at the gym. At the gym, I'm pretty much religiously using a band to keep it in a bun because it's just impossible. It gets up in my face, I get hot, I get sweaty. It can be annoying. I don't know how girls do it sometimes. So this next one's kind of open for interpretation, if it's a good thing or bad thing. I'm gonna add it anyways because I know there's some people out there who are quite introverted, but it can bring a lot of attention. I'm not gonna lie, guys, ever since I've had my longer hair, when I'm talking to people, the first thing they freaking mention every single time without fail is my hair. So it's a massive, massive conversation starter. And to be honest with you, for some, that's gonna be amazing. For others, not so much. If you don't really like the attention, you might want to stay away from something so different that most people aren't used to seeing on guys. That's a negative in itself. For some reason, having longer hair on guys is seen as quite feminine and is just generally less socially accepted. So if you feel like, you know, society's opinion, people's opinion really matters that much, you might struggle a little bit. You might get a few looks here or there. For the most part, it's pretty positive. I can't lie to you. I've had like overwhelmingly positive feedback on my hair. Having said that though, I do understand that most people wouldn't do it, and it's kind of like society kind of looks at you a little bit like, oh, you're trying to be different, you know, because you're that guy with the long hair whilst every other guy has short hair, right? So it's just like something to keep in mind. And lastly, I don't know about you guys, but if you do not have a friendly relationship with your barber, then you're doing it wrong. You probably need to find a new barber. You kind of become mates with your barber, right? You go there every month, you catch up, you kind of like, you know, deload what's going on in your life. He tells you what's going on in his life and just have a nice chat. Except when you have long hair or when you're growing out your hair, you're not gonna see your barber. So say bye-bye. You might want to go meet him at the pub instead, because realistically, you're not gonna get your hair cut, right? So yeah, that's probably my last little negative that I've got to mention in this video. But yeah, guys, after having said all of these negatives, point after point after point, I still have to come around and say that it's worth it. You should still do it. Go and watch my other video. All those reasons that I gave in that video are so worth it. These little things are more like little annoyances, little pet peeves, but I feel like the overall benefit for growing out your hair is good, you know. I think it's worth it. I think you should definitely still try growing out your hair. And if you don't like longer hair on guys, fair enough. You don't have to, and this video is perfect for you. These are the reasons why you definitely shouldn't. One that I should probably mention is, obviously, if you really are balding, maybe if it's not the best idea to grow out your hair. If you have like really deep receding hairlines, longer hair is kind of just going to make that a bit more obvious. I don't know. Please do tell me what you guys think about growing out your hair. Are you going to do it? Are you not going to do it? Are you considering it? Somewhere in between? Let me know. Let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and peace.